Welcome to another review with the Law and Order Lady, and I'm the Law and Order Lady. Okay, we're going to be dealing with Law and Order SVU Season 26, Episode 8, and it's called Cornered. Let me tell you, I'm so emotional right now. So, you know how we do it. How did it start? What happened? Who did it? Why? And how did it end, right? Well, how did it start? We see Carisi going to the corner store to get coffee and his bagel. He obviously has some type of rapport with this gentleman that is in charge of the bodega. I say it's a bodega, but it could have just been a corner store, right? Now, he normally acts with this man. So obviously, he comes and goes every day. Well, he gets ready to leave, and he's talking to Liv on the phone. He has a coffee, right? And then he meets his friend, the defense attorney, at the courthouse. And they start talking, and then he remembers that he needs to get flowers for his assistant because his assistant has been working with him a whole year. So I thought, oh, wow, that's so sweet that he wants to get flowers for his paralegal, right? So he goes to the corner store again to buy flowers for his assistant. And he's confronted with robbers in the store at gunpoint. Oh my gosh. So they're holding up the store. There's two women in the store and they're scared as well as the owner. Okay. So what happened? Well, Liv called him over and over and over because he was supposed to meet her at the courthouse, but he didn't answer. So Liv asked his assistant where Carisi could have gone to, what store he would have went to get her coffee or flowers or anything like that. And she tells Liv. So Liv decides to go find Carisi. So she's calling him and she's calling him. He's not answering the phone. So she walks up to the bodega. But before she gets there, Carisi is already inside and he's trying to get a hold of the situation. He's trying to de-escalate the situation the best he can. He gives the robbers his PIN number to his debit card. He lets them take his watch, his wallet, the cash inside, and then they demand his wedding ring. You know, how petty. Really? So yeah, they get the wedding ring too. And I think that was just a matter of trying to dominate the situation. They didn't really need the wedding ring, but they took it anyway. Well, the robbers found out that there was a safe in the floor because they had been trying to get the two women to take money out of their ATM, out of their accounts and give it to them. And then they were, of course, robbing the store, right? So the store owner obviously did not have the combination to the safe in the floor. He says that the boss is the only one that has the combination. So the robbers are like, well, get him down here, get him down here now. So Liv gets worried, and I hate that one of the robbers that is in this particular episode is an actor that starred in Grimm. He played Monroe in Grimm, which is one of my favorite series as well. So let's get back to what I was saying. So anyway, Liv goes to the bodega and she sees Carisi at the door. Carisi, because the robbers told him to lock the door. She sees Carisi through the door and she peers at him and he's like trying to give her a sign that there are people inside. And he saved her life because had she not, seen his signal, she would have went inside to talk to him. So, wow, So who did it? Well, Liv meets with the police and they want to establish a connection of communication with the robbers. Liv calls Amanda and I'm holding my breath when she's calling her because, Liv and Amanda are friends, but Amanda and Carisi are now married, So at first Amanda's in a meeting. Sergeant Rollins is in a meeting. She doesn't answer the phone. And then she takes the call because Liv repeatedly calls her. And she tells her that Carisi interrupted a robbery in progress. And then Liv, of course, tells her crew to come on down there. So Liv is really worried, but she maintains decorum. She follows procedure through the whole time. Like, my girl has got it on lock. She knows what to do. Even when she's panicking, she's not panicking. Even when she's scared, she still knows what to do. Well, the robbers don't want to answer the phone because Carisi's tell the robbers, you need to answer the phone. they don't want to answer the phone. So one of the robbers tells the people inside, we're going to put you in the freezer. And you won't freeze to death or nothing, but we're going to put you back there. And so they agree to go back there. They don't agree, but they make them go back there. So one of the robbers takes the girls to the back near the freezer, and Carisi talks to one of the robbers, Deontay. And he tells him that his partner is off the hook, that he's dangerous. He tells Deontay that he's going to be held criminally liable if he doesn't stop this. The owner, Ali, is then shot because he answers the phone. He says, I'm not going to be scared of a guy with a gun. And he answers the phone, and I'm thinking, are you nuts? Like, are you dumb? He has a gun. He's going to shoot you. And that's exactly what happened. I understand, though, that the deli owner, excuse me, did not want to be, he didn't want to feel scared anymore. That's why he answered the phone. And plus, he thought he could get some help. So Deontay's partner is the one who shot him, Boyd. So why? The robbers unplug the phone from the wall, and then Amanda comes down, and she is so worried. She gets there. She gets to the scene of the crime, and Sergeant Rollins is in effect immediately. She's asking them, what are they doing? Do they have sight inside the deli? Can they bum rush them, go in there and breach? And they're trying to work together to see what they can do. They don't want to breach without information. And they said, we're not going to call the hostages' phones or the deli phone until we know more. Well, Deontay's partner, Boyd, is kind of nuts. So Carisi needs to move Ali so he doesn't die, because now they want them all in the freezer. So Carisi has to actually pull Ali while he's bleeding to death. While Ali is bleeding to death on the floor, he has to pull him to the back into the freezer. And there's this blood trail on the floor. And I mean real bad blood. And I swear, if they killed Carisi, I was going to stop watching. Period. Full stop. But, okay, maybe not. But I'd have definitely been pissed, right? So I love Carisi. I love what him and Amanda have. And I love Carisi, period. So how do you diffuse a situation when you obviously have got someone who's evil and doesn't want to listen to you at all? Well, Carisi tells the women to stay calm, work together so they can stay alive, and the other woman happens to have a smartwatch. Now, mind you, the robbers told them to give them their phones. They did give them their phones, but she didn't give them her smartwatch. And on those smartwatches, you know, the Apple Watches, you know, you can get texts, you can make calls. So her boyfriend texts her to see what's going on. So even though the crew outside with Liv is working to do all that they can do, Carisi gets her to let him use her smartwatch to make the call. And they communicate with Liv on the outside. He tells them descriptions. He tells them what's going on. He tells them that Ali is injured and that he's bleeding to death. Okay, so Liv and the police put a wire inside the deli with a camera so they can see inside. The robbers are arguing, and Deontay and Boyd are the robbers. Carisi tells them outside that they need to breach soon, and Amanda and Carisi talk briefly. And I'm almost in tears because if that had been my husband, I'd have been so worried. I'd have been so scared. But Carisi keeps it cool like the whole entire time. Like, bravo, like ups to him for real. So Carisi tells them about the suspects and the robbers again. The robbers tell them that they have been going through the phone of Carisi. So they know about Carisi now. They know he's an ADA. They know Amanda is his wife. So she's a sergeant. They know that Liv is a captain and he used to work for her. That was his boss. So they're trying to come up with a plan to go abroad, the robbers are. And, you know, Carisi being smart like he is, he tells them the Solomon Islands is a good idea. So the cops tell Liv that the lieutenant that's there is able to make the next move because she doesn't have precedence over the situation or jurisdiction. Neither does Amanda. That Amanda really doesn't need to be down there because she's a spouse of one of the victims inside one of the hostages. So she shouldn't be down there. So basically Liv has to do what's right, and she has to allow this lieutenant to do what's next. But she tells him, and she tells him like this: I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you this. You do what you need to do. But if my friend inside gets hurt, we're gonna have a problem. okay? So I love her for that. So she tells him that if anything happens to Carisi, they're going to have a problem. So Carisi's been on the series a long time, and I have gotten used to him. I've gotten used to his wit. I've gotten used to his personality. I've gotten used to the fact that he is just a upstanding person altogether. He's a great dad now, and him and Amanda are the love story of the century on Law and Order SVU. So how does it end? The robbers answer one of the girls' phones. She's getting a text from Lieutenant Ford, the guy that Liv told could go ahead and be in charge because that was his jurisdiction. And then the robbers, pat her down, find the other device, which is the smartwatch. And Boyd is pissed. Boyd is off the chain already, but he's pissed now. So he wants to rape her. He's been inside, he's been in jail, and he wants to get out. He hasn't had any, and he's going to rape Tess. So he pulls Tess into the freezer. Carisi's going nuts. He's like, Deontay, you just gonna let this happen? And Deontay's like, I can't control him. While that's happening, Ali stops breathing. So they do CPR, Carisi does, but he's gone. So Carisi is upset. He's really upset. He's angry. And then on top of that, with him trying to rescue Tess briefly, he gets hit in the head with the gun of Boyd, which leaves a gash in the back of his head, right? So Carisi tells one of the women that have been held hostage with him that he's not an action hero, that he used to be a cop. He tells them the hostages need to stick together if they want to walk out alive. So Deontay's waiting on Boyd. He's waiting on Boyd to give the cops his demands. So obviously Boyd is running this, right? But Deontay has been listening to things that Carisi has said the whole time. Deontay wanted to stick the deli up just to get drinking money for Boyd. Because Boyd got out of jail, he picked him up and he wanted to go drinking. Well, Carisi tells Deontay that he's looking at murder and rape and robbery. Because Boyd is back there raping Tess at this moment. He tells him he's going to go to bat for him if he helps him out. So Deontay says, we went through your phone and we know that Liv used to be your boss. That's the problem. So Boyd has raped Tess. We see that, and we know that he's nuts. He wants Carisi to call Liv and help them get out of there. And the short list of demands that they have includes exchanging Liv for Carisi. Oh my God. Now Carisi tells them that Ali is dead and that Tess needs medical attention because they have Carisi to call Liv on her phone. Liv talks to them. She tells them she wants a peaceful resolution. Boyd agrees to the exchange, but he needs proof of a flight and a cab outside. She says, I need an act of good faith. And in doing so, Boyd agrees to give them Tess. So he uses Tess as a shield, and then he shoves her out the door, and she's screaming and screaming and screaming. And she's obviously very angry, very embarrassed, very hurt. I know her pain. I know her pain. That's another time. We're not going to talk about this right now, but I know how she feels. So Liv gets ready to go in, and Carisi won't let Liv get exchanged for him. She orders him to come out, and he says, you ain't my boss no more. And he shoves Boyd violently back inside the door. They both fall to the ground. He's trying to reach for the gun, but Boyd gets the gun. Deontay eventually is getting really tired of Boyd. So Deontay points his gun toward Boyd. He wants him to drop the gun because he's angry now. He doesn't want to go back to jail. And Carisi tells him that if he acts in defense of others, it's self-defense against Boyd. So then he shoots Boyd and helps Carisi out. And outside they react because they don't know who's got shot at this moment. They don't know if Carisi is alive or not. So Deontay gives Carisi the gun, and then Carisi goes into cop mode immediately. He's like, get on the ground. Get on the ground right now or I will shoot you. And Deontay's looking up his face like, I thought you was going to help me. And Carisi's already in cop mode and he says nothing. So he tells him, but he does say something. He tells him, I'm not going to help you the way you helped Tess, the way you helped Ali. So obviously he isn't going to help him, but he does get his wedding ring back, which I'm really glad about. He immediately puts it on. You can tell he's shaken. Amanda and him are the greatest love story on this show, and I just love it that he's alive. Carisi watches Dante get put in the back of the car, and he's overwhelmed and he's crying. You know, Carisi and Amanda and Liv are at the deli after he reunites with Amanda outside, and they're hugging, and Liv is standing there, and I'm just like, oh my God, you know, I mean, my heart, you know. So at the deli later, they kind of discuss the case because Liv, Amanda, and Carisi are there. And Carisi's asking, did Deontay get arraigned yet? And they don't want to talk about that, not really. So he wants to see the kids. And Amanda says, no, they're going to stay over my mom's. And he's like, no, I want to see my kids. And she says, just wait till tomorrow, okay? Just wait till tomorrow. And he agrees reluctantly that he's going to wait till tomorrow. He kind of jokes around a little. He says he's fine, but I don't think he is. I really don't think that he is. You know, Liv tells him that he needs to talk to someone. So we see Carisi bring flowers to his assistant later. And that's what he wanted to do in the beginning. Now, he didn't forget. After going through all that he went through, he didn't forget. And both Amanda and Liv agree that Carisi is not okay. He isn't. He's not okay. I think he needs to talk to someone, and so does Liv. So we're going to have to see if this affects Carisi more so than we thought. He's been through a traumatic event, and all the time he kept his cool. In a situation like that, it is best to keep your cool if you want to walk out alive. And he did all the right things, even though some really bad things happened that he couldn't control. He tried to change the narrative. He tried to get a hold of the position that he was in. He tried to negotiate. He tried to talk to them. He tried to de-escalate the situation, and yet and still really bad things happened. So let's see what happens next week. I don't know if this was the fall finale or not, but if it was, we'll have to wait a little bit to see what happens. But I am all in, and I know that you are. This was a deep episode for me. Watching Carisi go through something traumatic like this and get hurt the way that he did, I think he's hurt more on the inside than he is on the outside. So we'll have to see what happens. But that is the end to this review of Law & Order SVU. And we are in season 26, people. Season 26, episode 8, called Cornered. I hope you guys will think about subscribing to my channel. I really would appreciate it, because you know what? We're going to Law & Order on, baby. And I can't wait to talk to you again. All right, Law & Order on.